75 pounds of pure freaking genius. There's smart, then there's genius. And today is genius. This is a first rodeo for me. Span did a great job packaging this up. It's well protected, but I kind of ripped it apart in the shop. Because I had a few things to investigate to satisfy my intellectual curiosity. Make sure I was ready for today. This, my friends, is a span panel. This thing will outperform, outstrip. I mean, this is Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt. This is insanity. And I'm gonna break down for you, step by step by step, exactly what it is. Span has thought of everything that I can think of. And I'm excited to put my critiques on this as we dive into it. But a couple things, look at this. Typical electrical panels have 6 screws in the cover. One. So fast, so easy. 1 screw. Look at that. Does that look like anything you've ever seen before? It's wild. 3 cooling fans. I love the fact that, look, they're feed-through lugs. 200 amp rated feed-through lugs. Now you're asking, what does a span panel do? What the heck is going on here? Let me tell you what. Every single circuit has a computer chip. Is individually monitored, is individually controlled. So anywhere you've got internet, cellular, you've got the ability to monitor and manage circuit by circuit, your entire load profile. Everything, it's more than that, but I'm gonna get into that later. Every single circuit is identified, controlled, and it's managed on the basis of a power outage according to your solar production, battery storage limits upon thresholds and scenes that you set and select to maximize your profile. See, the customer here has a Tesla solar roof, Tesla Powerwall Plus, Tesla inverter, 200 amp service, and now a span panel to maximize the energy profile of the house in every respect. Like the guy is set up. So how do we get this gig? We're a Tesla solar roof partner. And this lead came to us through the Tesla Solar Roof channel. It's interesting that this panel has 1 point of pre-made entry, and that's on the top here. That's this hub. The hub is compatible with Square-D Series A hubs. However, I've been told by our warehouse team that, I'm gonna save that for later. Never know when you're gonna need a spare hub. I've been told by our warehouse team that Millbank is also compatible. And because our utility in Indianapolis is big on Millbank hubs are everywhere. So this thing is pretty hefty, as you can tell. Quite a bit more weight than a standard electrical panel. So the moment of truth is, yes sir, Millbank. Oh no, that's Square-D. They gave me a Square-D. Look at that. Square-D Series A. That's what you're looking for. All the other points of entry to a span panel have to be drilled out. And in the span training, there's a span installer training, really well done, really user-friendly. Span has got fantastic support. Like every time we email them, they email us back within probably 2 hours, just with general questions, requests to add team members for training. We've got at this point 4 certified span team members and probably 4 more who have been invited to the training. Just young guys who like to grow and accelerate their career. You think education is expensive? You should try ignorance. Get the training. So economics of the day today, right? A standard electrical panel swap, depending on where you are, the complexity, drywall accessibility, number of circuits. A standard panel swap on the very low end, $600 flat. Very low end. Probably averaging closer to $1,000, $1,500. On the higher end, $2 to $3 grand on the high end for more complex situations. Getting span certified has unlocked massive opportunity. $2 to $3 grand for a panel swap, that's yesterday. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. You're gonna have to wait on that one. This kind of stuff, going after advanced technology solutions, cultivating a refined customer base that wants those advanced solutions, not doing the same that your grandfather did. Like the standard electrical panel has been around virtually almost unchanged for 100 years. This is a new generation. But why do I need a span panel? Well, you don't. There's the reality, you don't. However, energy resilience, you've got like air, water, food, energy. Maslow's hierarchy, modified by Joel himself. Energy is a top priority, and the grid and its fragility, right? This is part of the remedy. So investing in a span panel provides efficiencies, monitoring, control that are incredibly cost-effective and advanced, so as to reduce the amount of photovoltaic battery size storage systems that you need. So you can spend 50 grand over here and build a massive system for a home. You can spend 100 grand. We've got customers who have spent $250,000 on energy resilience for their estate, just on the photovoltaic and battery systems. 8 Tesla Powerwalls stacked deep in the garage. However, with introducing the span panel, now you have the control, you have the information and monitoring to maximize your energy profile, such that that $250,000 system comes down to a $160,000 system with the introduction of span, because of that monitoring and control. We're gonna have to get into that. But trust me, that's the impact of span in a renewable energy profile. The founder of span, Arch Rao, he's a former Tesla executive, and so the everything about span is beautiful. If you like Tesla, you'll like span. If you know the aesthetics, the concept, the user friendliness, the reliability, the excellence of engineering technology, it's right there. So at the end of the day today, we'll see if I'm still preaching the same thing. The one drawback here that I can already see, the one thing, it's already so full, right? I'm gonna struggle. So 32 circuit max, but every circuit space is rated for tandem breakers. However, if you use tandem breakers, from a monitoring standpoint, the Roomba is taking off. If you use tandem breakers, from a monitoring standpoint, the system only sees it as one. So you don't get tandem level monitoring, you get space level monitoring. So it's a 32-64. The 32 spaces, 64 circuits max, plus the feed through lugs at the bottom.
Empty the bin. Empty the bin.
See how many times I have to put it back over there? Leave me alone. Oh man. Okay, nuts and bolts. This is a sub panel. The main distribution is at the detached garage outside. So we've got a 200 amp feeder coming into the house. So I'm removing the bonding strap between the neutral bar and the ground bar. So the ground bar is bonded to the housing. I just need to take that off. I'm gonna save some of these little proprietary parts for next time. Well, I probably won't. Shoot. You can really overload yourself with being a pack rat. There. So now we're isolated. I love the fact that they've got the Square D covers. Got Ethernet and RS-485 connections up here. QR code for commissioning, that's beautiful. All right, so this is an indoor-outdoor rated panel. It's either, these are 2 antennas on top, so there's not a lot of space to drill out my circuits, but it is exact measurement. What is it? It's exactly, what's the OD here? 14 1/4. All right, so it's gonna fit in a standard stud bay beautifully. It is NEMA 3R rated, which means rain tight outdoor. It is rated for all kinds of temperature extremes. I don't remember the exact numbers, but in Indiana, the ASHRAE is something like -14 to 110 degrees. It's rated for that. It's in a nice, cool mechanical room here in the basement. So cooling fans won't have to run often, I wouldn't suspect. One thing I'm gonna do is before taking that panel offline, I'm gonna get this one fully prepped. Our company cam photos illuminated the panel schedule, so I was able to use a span provided fillable PDF to go ahead and label the panel, and there's a nice sleeve on the inside cover in order to keep this real clean and looking sharp. The sleeve is on the inside of the door, and the door is reversible, by the way. And it worked beautifully. Thank you, Span, for providing a nice fillable PDF, which includes the serial number of the panel, the installer name, the date of install. Like, it's fantastic. You guys thought of so much. All right, so one of the things I'm gonna do to prepare is take this panel cover off and identify how many knockouts I'm going to need, and then do my drill outs in the span, both top and bottom, so I'm ready for conduit entry, wiring entry. Just gonna lay it all out. 1.5 inch drill out on the bottom, reutilize that connector. Span panels are compatible with Eaton, Siemens, and Square D home line, so I'm gonna be reutilizing all these breakers in that panel because they're 6 months old. The one thing that kinda just caught last minute is this 100 amp breaker exceeds the maximum breaker rating of this span. 90 amps is the max. Didn't have a 90 amp in stock when I left work at 6 p.m. last night, so I grabbed an 80. So we're gonna be downsizing, not undersizing, just downsizing that. That's for an Airbnb sub panel. I'm gonna match and make sure all my labels are correct to my panel because everything's already been labeled, but these are gonna be my key identifiers when I start taking circuits apart and putting them back together to make sure that that information is captured. It's a nice looking panel. Things are zip tied up. Some people complain about that. It's not an art contest. It's about serviceability. The next guy who comes in here, being me, only 6 months later, has to cut all those free. So all the labels have been verified. We've got spare conductor on this one, which that one's wrapped real hard and tight. We don't have any room for that kind of finagling in the span panel. I mean, it's full. That's the one thing, like, it's crowded. We've just been getting used to these 60, 80 panels since the code updated, and you could have, you weren't maxed at, was it 40 or 42 circuits? Now you're maxing at 60, 80 circuits. You really don't need that many circuits is the thing, but you got to rethink how you're wiring homes when you're now limited to 32 circuits here in the last 10 years. It's a bit of a shift, and 2 span panels, it's a bit of guap, I'm saying. So the next thing is to lay out and make sure I'm gonna have sufficient circuit length. What they did here is really nice. Look at all that extra. Both sides, everything has extra. Unfortunately, again, I don't think I can do that with the span. I think it's gonna be too tight. I gotta be able to get the cover on. The span is deeper than an average panel, but it has to be. Here's the thing too, Span has a beautiful trim kit, which we're not gonna show you in this video, but we're gonna do another Span install video, and I think that one's gonna include Span Drive. I'm not telling you what that is yet. But Span is coming in at, probably with the cover, 6 inches all said and done. I'll take a final on that once the cover's on. 6 all said and done. Interior dimension here is 3. It's only 3 inches to where that inside dead front sits. You can get a variety of main breakers. Anything in the Square D Homeline family from 100 to 200 is compatible. Standard bolt-on, so easily replaceable. Okay, so from the top circuit is 16 inches, bottom circuit is 32. 16 to 32, so let's lay this out. Max overcurrent height, that's the main breaker, 6'7". There's 6 foot, and there is, how about that, 7. 6'7". 16. It's pretty close. That's definitely going to reach, and that's 32. I also have the option of dropping it down, because what I don't want to have to do is strip all these cables if I don't have to. So what about that? Match the tops at the same height, and now the top circuit is 16. That's definitely going to reach. That's definitely, yeah, they left a lot of slack. They were ready for Span. So 16 and 32. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna match the heights of the panel and bring it down lower. Let's see what the total dimensional height of span is just under, well, if you count the antennas, we're up 40. All right, this is my first time to site. It's all in the layout, baby. You got the prep work, the layout, you got to answer the questions now before you start ripping anything apart. Begin with the end in mind. As my buddy Eddie from Massachusetts, 40-year master electrician, says, no matter how long you've been in the trade, and I agree 100%, no matter how long you've been in the trade, there is always something new to learn. Working with my mentor, also master electrician for over 40 years, he said, I can't tell you how many times he said, crossed his arms and said, I ain't never seen that before. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. I want to have room to maneuver these cables out and back in. These are the diagonal cutters. I've got my workstation set up here. That's going to save me bending. I'm going to be refreshed at the end of the day. My forearms will be tired, but this workstation is going to save my back. I'm curious about what happened here. I think the wire got nicked and they wrapped it up, but I'd like to know for myself. All right, if you're a homeowner, even if you're an electrician, right? Yeah, it's just a little bit chewed up. It's fine. You probably shouldn't take it this deep if you're a homeowner. Like at this point, this is all energized equipment. Any of it could kill you. If you stop respecting it, that's when it'll bite you. So be cautious. All right, prep and layout. Prep and layout. I mean, I'm going to do a lot before I take this thing offline. Loosen the connector. Just get as far down the road as I possibly can before killing power. Homeowners' expectations today are that power is going to be out from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I'm going to try to beat that, right? Don't take the power down until 10:30 and bring it back up before 4. Currently the time is 10:30. All right, we're getting pretty close. Exceed expectations. Under promise, over deliver. All right, before we take anything offline, I want to know what the current condition is. So I'm using my Klein multimeter. Okay. Phase to phase. Phase to neutral. Everything looks good. I'm going to drill the hole. I need a new lower hole for this conductor, and I'm going to drill it near face of framing because I have a nail plate to protect it. And I want to give it as much berth from the backside as possible. So I think I'm looking at about here. Aggressive. I think I'm done with that. Step bit. Okay. Nail plate back on. Kind of rocking. Any of you guys gonna compete in the Ideal National Championships? I think I might try it for the first time if I'm not too late to the game. I'm okay with a little bit of mystery every now and then. All right, let's open up these zip ties. All right, I think we draw up the span panel with the number of holes, the locations of choice, And then we take power offline and make the swap. It's time. Well, it's up there. 40 amps on L1 and 45 on L2. I bet the air conditioning just kicked on. That's the blower motor right there for the fan, so it's probably most of that. That's probably 25 of the 43 right there. Gas tankless water heater behind us. Nice PEX manifold system. It's pretty sweet. Water filtration system, got a lot going on here. Yeah, that's an 1.5" connector. I wanted to verify that. So that's a, for sizes 2" nominal tradeside conduit and below, you add 3/8 of an inch to the hole size that you drill to insert fitting. So this 1.5" connector, the hole I need to drill is 1 7/8. It's always 3/8 more. So for 1/2 inch, it's 7/8, so on and so forth. So there's one. Nothing coming in the sides, which is good. It's pretty tricky when it is coming in the sides. 15 cables, 2 grounds, 13 cables, 2 of those being 10 gauge. So 15, 12, 11, 14, and 2 10s. That's what I need to accommodate at the top of the new panel. One of the really important things, one of probably the most important things in this whole process is protecting the interior from metal filings. See, it's a NEMA 3R panel, so it's fully encased. There are 4 mounting holes, 2 top, 2 bottom. And the reason there are no drill outs or knockouts anywhere is because it's got to have that weather tightness. So I thought that I had painter's tape, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm gonna use electrical tape. That's a little bit thin. Got some of this material. Yeah, look what I found in the span box. There's this eco-friendly packaging. That's a nice fit. Thank you, Span. I didn't know that was in there. Just mapping out my little soldiers here. Some of you are thinking, oh, this is way too tedious. Maybe it's a little tedious right this moment, but the money's good. You should create a video called How to Make $10,000 a Day as an Electrician. Okay, I've got the inside protected. I've got my holes marked. I'm ready to drill. Should an electrician be nervous? Maybe a little. At the very least, slightly skeptical. Me, however, I'm an optimist. Go. I think we're ready to head outside. I do like the new Tesla Gateway. Span did the same thing with their screw. 1 screw, rock out. I think we can fit a second ground in with this guy. See what?
Just next to it?
Yeah.
Or twist them?
Just next to it. Or you could crimp sleeve them if you have to. Or, yeah, let's try that for starters. Crimp sleeve or...
do you know which one this breaker is?
Was this the hardest part, just getting through the conduit? I have a fish tape. Do you want to use my fish tape?
I knew there wasn't a whole lot of room, period, but yeah, probably the hardest.
Got it.
But there's knockouts on the bottom too. There's one right here, which would not be fun because they have all their wires like mashed against it, but
yeah, there'd be no way to do a drill out, and that knockout is in front of this wiring pan. That would look kind of funny.
oh yeah. So yeah, I
almost
don't
wonder
know.
if we would have drilled a pop in, put it right there. Fish down, come in the back, without damaging the QR code, which is nice to have. We've been prepping in the house. The span panel is ready. Can't think of anything else to do. Customer's been notified. power is about to go offline. And subscribe to Electric Pro Academy for real skills to make real money. And click here for the next video on the span installation.